Hello, my friends. Jacob is here once again, and I'm so happy that you are joining me. It's a great Tuesday morning. Aren't you excited? Got another amazing show for you today. 3 major discoveries, huge discoveries. One about to be announced by NASA in collaboration with Google's AI. They're about to reveal something huge. They're always about to reveal something huge. But a lot of people think that this is what we've been waiting for. And then after many years, almost 60 years of theorizing that there would be a particle that would exist in an excited state that could bounce around from place to place, they finally found it. That just was revealed as well. And last but not least, how do we communicate? Well, they've just discovered that there is a way to communicate without words, and babies got this on lockdown. This show is going to be an eye-opening one as well as a much quicker one, so I hope that you are buckled up, people, because I'm going to send a lot of information your way, and it is going to change everything you know about space and time. All right, so I want to first start off with the Kepler mission. Okay, they sent the Kepler telescope out. They sent it out. Its one mandate was to find alien life, and armed with Google's deep learning, that's artificial intelligence. Okay, because they can keep an eye on everything and work nonstop and never get tired. They have now received word that they found something. Now, a lot of people are saying that this is alien life. Other people are saying this could be that planet. Now, about a year or so ago, when we were talking about Planet 9, Planet X, Nibiru, and along the way, I continued to say that you will start to see a steady drip, drip, drip of information. Little by little, they're going to start to, reveal that there are planets out there that are like ours. And within the last year or so, we've seen many. Just within the last couple of months, another 10 planets were announced. Now, we're not talking the kind of life that they thought that they found, like they found a microbe on the International Space Station, and they made a big deal out about that. This announcement, hopefully, will shed some light into whether or not there is life out there beyond our little closed system. Speaking of closed systems, I know a lot of you out there have asked me to do videos on whether or not the Earth was flat. Everybody asked me to look into it, and I have not blown anybody off. Believe me, I have looked into it, and I have watched videos on it, and I am totally intrigued by it. Right now, the verdict is still out. So please don't hold that against me. We're all at a different point in our understanding, and we're all led to where we need to be led for whatever reason, even if that information is wrong for a certain reason. And in the end, all will come to the knowledge of the truth. That's written in Scripture, that everyone will come to the knowledge of the truth and the stature of the perfect man. I believe that we will all one day, especially those that believe and especially those that seek, which is what Scripture says, we will have the answers we're looking for. So you got to be careful not to condemn anyone for seeing things a different way, because we all could be wrong. I could be wrong. You could be wrong. We all could be wrong. But the reason I do these shows is because what they're putting out there tells us a lot, because they will give us a little bit of information. It's called predictive programming, to lead us somewhere. We've seen it done in movies where they'll give you some information in a movie and then you'll see this movie and all these things, they start to seem like sci-fi, and now all of a sudden It's a reality. It's because they're getting you ready. They're preparing you for it. So whether or not they're going to say they have discovered alien life, I can't tell you that. But I believe great disclosure is coming very, very soon. So stay tuned to that announcement within the next day or so. Now, from space, we go down to physics, okay? Scientists have found a new type of matter. This is exciting. It's called, let me get this right, it's called the excitonium. Excitonium, and it works on quantum principles. Basically, if you've watched this channel enough, this stuff is really hard. I try to explain this to Danielle and she goes, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. And I gotta tell you, a lot of this stuff doesn't make any sense to me. I was up reading for hours in the middle of the night, from like 2 o'clock to like 4 o'clock in the morning, trying to understand how this kind of boson type particle acts. It acts as a superfluid as well as a superconductor, I think, and even it works as an insulator. But basically, it gets to an excited space and it basically just disappears and leaves a positively charged electron in its place, and then it poofs over somewhere else. Now, they theorized that this would happen and they just didn't have the proof, and now they have the proof. Now, what's interesting about this is that means that if it can happen at this small little, I don't even want to say cellular, but this little particle level, if it can happen there, then can you imagine what happens with us? One person described it as the soul and the body of a person, kind of like the soul leaving the body of a person and traveling and inhabiting another body, which gets me to my next really cool point. I know that I've talked about doing a show on whether or not reincarnation is biblical, and that is coming. The reason I haven't done it yet is because I don't think it's time. Maybe this week, maybe next Tuesday's show. I will leave you with this. For one, John the Baptist was the reincarnation of Elijah. A lot of people came around and he said, look, if you probably won't receive this, you're probably not ready to get it, but this, if you'll receive it, is Elijah. His name was John. He didn't know he was Elijah. He was asked by others, are you Elijah? And he goes, no, I'm not, just some guy in the wilderness, baptizing people, wearing dead pelts and eating crazy wild honey and locusts. It's all symbolism. But we're going to get into that show on Tuesday. So it's there, but what does that mean for all of us? It's interesting because there is a much bigger biblical plan. And I'm not saying this is like you reincarnate as a turtle or as a butterfly. I'm not saying that at all. We're going to look at it from a principled point of view, and we're going to use scripture as our starting point. I have a lot of information on it. I've written essays on it. But I mention all this to talk about the video that I did a couple of weeks ago about the big bounce, okay? Very fascinated with this because as I was doing this video, right after I posted this video about the fact that there was not just one big bang, but there's an infinite amount of bangs. Basically, there's an explosion, an expansion, and then it goes out to a certain spot, and then it contracts down and implodes upon itself and does it again, and again, and again, and again, an infinite amount of times. Which brings up the question, are we all just reliving the same thing again and again and again until we get it right? A lot of Eastern philosophies, they basically explain that that's how the world acts. Many, many years before physicists came on the scene and said that's what actually happens. Neil Turok, I just watched this guy. What a fascinating lecture he gave at the Perimeter Institute. He's the director there. And he basically started off with just the basic fundamentals of math, and he brought us all the way to where we are today. And this is the one thing that I want to leave you with. He explained that, they understand through mathematical equations and data that the universe, if you will receive it, I'm not saying that there is, for all I know is I'm here right now. That's all I know. Okay, so I'm going to put that out there. But I will say that the universe is spread out in a certain way. It's kind of a closed system. Now, I know that there are multiverses, right? There are other planets out there, and it goes out far, 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 far distance from us. And that the farther we go away from us, the further back in time we get, because it all started back here and now it's all the way out there. And at some point, it's going to crunch in on itself and then rebound again. And then rebound again. Now, this is interesting. The director of Perimeter Group said that the universe and us and everything is so perfectly balanced. Now, get this. He said it was 10 to the 25th. That's like the mathematical equation for the universe. And that surrounding the universe, there's nothing but dark energy. Okay? So there's nothing out there. It's like the opposite of something. We are matter, and it's like the opposite of matter. That's why it makes no sense that we're here. But it makes things very interesting. It means that we're so very special because we exist at all, right? But here's the cool thing, is that if you use the mathematics to get to the farthest edges of, the universe, the multiverse, whatever you want to call it, it's 10 to the 25th. Now, if you look down inside, so if you're looking for, say you're looking for the origins of all, you're looking for God, and you look out in space, okay? You get out a certain distance, you find dark energy, you find nothingness. Now, if you say you want to find God, and you look under an electron telescope, and then you go to a collider, and then you're smashing particles together, and you're looking deep into that, and you get down to what they call Planck level, which is like as far as you can get within. Guess what you find? Same thing, dark energy, nothing. And it's like 10 to the 35th negative 35. So it's kind of like, it's this perfectly balanced system that we exist in. Now get this, at a cellular level, you and I, exist smack dab in the middle. Now that says something. So if you don't think that you're important, if you don't think that you're special, if you don't think that you have a great purpose, it's time to wake up, people, because you're smack dab in the middle of it all. And now with the new boson particle excitonium, really, it's interesting because it behaves in a way that doesn't make sense, like magic. But it's not magic, or is it? Is there more to it? Remember that double slit experiment? It's all about the observer. It's about what we perceive, people. Start perceiving your life in a different way and it will change. You have more power than you think over not just your life. You think that you can't work things out with your family? You can change the entire world with enough faith. With faith as a mustard seed. If you have absolute faith that you know that you're a mustard seed, you're going to grow into a mustard tree. It's the largest of all herb-bearing trees. It's pretty crazy. And that's you. You just need faith to do it. I also wanted to talk about the new discovery they made with babies, okay? So now brainwaves. As I'm communicating right now with you, our brainwaves are sort of syncing, especially if we have a conversation. If I'm talking to you and you and I are engaged in a conversation and we're both locked into it, our brainwaves fire at the exact same time. It's almost like we communicate together, and it's like we're one. Think about that for a second. Now here's what's kooky. They just realized that when a baby comes into the world, that when you lock eyes with a baby and you look at a baby, the baby transfixes its eyes on you, and then boom, your brainwaves lock in. You're communicating at a deeper spiritual level that you didn't even know was possible. Which opens the door to the possibility of, telepathy, speaking to each other without the use of our words, right? Speaking of words, words have power. Why do they have power? Because there are sound waves. And what does that matter? Guess what? Everything that exists is a wave. You're a wave. The universe is a wave. The earth is a wave. Everything is a frequency. And like anything, waves can be shortened, they can be elongated, they can be changed, they can branch off into other waves. Sky is the limit when you're dealing with waves, people. That's why it's so important to focus your energy and positivity and efforts and faith within, and then spread that wave without. There's like a force that we are all linked into that people aren't aware of, because this world will brainwash you into getting you to focus on things that don't matter, as opposed to realizing that this world was given to you to create. All things were given to Adam in Scripture, that Adam could have dominion on all things, but Adam ate of the wrong tree and died. Died to his potential, died to the truth of who he was, died to his connection to the source of all things. I call it God. Hopefully, you recognize that there is more than just you in this enclosed system that is expanding and contracting. Now, the last thing I want to leave you with, there's a really cool show on Netflix right now. It's a Netflix original series. I think it's a German show. It's subtitled, but it's done so well. It's called Dark. Now, this is what's spooky about all this. This is why I did this show instead of the reincarnation show. After I published that video on the Big Bounce, the cyclic universe, that Neil Turok is, basically one of the guys that really lectures on this and came up with some really incredible insights about the cyclic universe. But right after I did this, I started watching In Dark like the next day, and I just stumbled upon it because I think it was just released. I don't know, but I watched it, and about the third episode in, Danielle and I are watching. She goes, "Oh my God," she goes, "it's everything that you're talking about. That whole show is about the cyclic universe, the Big Bounce, the Big Crunch, rebounding again and again and again, and time being a loop." Right? And in this show, I don't want to give too much away. In this show, let's just say that a lot of it has to do with time travel, and that black holes are the key to opening up these other dimensions. Now, if that's not predictive programming, I don't know what is, because I've been saying that this is probably going on for a long time. Did a video on it. I don't know if you ever heard of the Mandela effect, but that would explain it, people. This is scientifically provable, theoretically provable. Whether or not they've done it, I don't know, but let's stay tuned and find out. Keep an eye out for that cool announcement from the Kepler mission. Keep an eye out for people that are in need, that you can make a difference and change their life. I love each and every one of you, and I will talk to you next time. Maybe Friday, maybe Tuesday, I don't know. But please do share the video around. Please do tell people about the channel. Click that little subscribe button. Click that little notification bell, and let's stay in touch. And thank you for all the emails, and thank you for all the comments. I love each and every one of you, and I want you to live your life and be a king and a queen in it. Rule. You are meant to rule. But you have to start within here, because everything from within comes without. So if you're eating from the wrong tree, if you're feeding yourself with a bunch of negativity, and you're feeding yourself with a bunch of poison, and you're listening to lies and you're imagining the worst, that's what you're going to get. But if you understand that you are a wave, and that a wave can change and affect other things, and that you can be just like this excitonium boson particle, you can poof your life into another existence completely. I don't know how long it takes, but I do know it's possible, because it's happened for me. Talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.